Tree Talking Time is brought to you by Conkey's Outdoors. Get all your hound hunting needs at conkeys.com. Welcome to Tree Talking Time, where we talk all things tree dogs, from the smallest feists to the largest hounds, treating squirrels to bears and everything in between. And from time to time, we might even run a little fast game. Need reliable housing for your animals? Animal Housing Solutions in Mayo, Florida builds custom coops, kennels, and shelters that are strong, durable, and designed with your animal's comfort in mind. Whether you need a large-scale kennel or a small custom chicken coop, they've got you covered. Quality craftsmanship, great service, and solutions built to last. That's the Animal Housing Solution promise. Check them out at Animal Housing Solutions on Facebook. Animal Housing Solutions, where your animals come first. Your dogs deserve the very best, and that's exactly what Elite Nutrition Canine Products delivers. Packed with premium ingredients and backed by science, their formulas are designed to boost energy, support joint health, and keep coats shiny and strong. Whether you've got a working dog, a hunting partner, or just a loyal best friend, Elite Nutrition gives them the fuel they need to thrive. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the nutrition your dog deserves. Find Elite Nutrition Canine Products today and give your dog the Elite Edge. Go to shopeliteglobal.com and use the code TREE10 on your next purchase. I'd really like to hear how you got started in the hog bay and in running shows. I mean, you said you were a competitor, but how did you know, it's easy to get involved as a competitor, but how in the world did you get involved running these hog baying competitions?
It was dying. As a young adult, it was my passion. Of course, I played sports. I played a little college football. I just love to compete, and then I love dogs. Always had cow dogs and stuff, and my passion was dying. It was going away, and I felt like I had the recipe, and it was really simple. Because nobody had the drive that I had. Nobody had. It didn't mean as much to other people as it did me. Mm-hmm. And I said, man, if I don't do something, it'll go away. And ended up buying one of probably the second longest running, if not with the first organized bay pen that there was in East Texas.
Okay.
And
what's that?
I implemented a format that I thought would work, and within 2 or 3 shows, it was the largest 2 or 3 shows that had ever been held. Mm-hmm. And then from that, hey, I got to save hog day, and it turned into something that, like, God might be the limit. And then I got offers to get the contract to run Uncle Earl's. And like I said, wasn't really an avenue. Wasn't something I wanted to undertake because I was a newly married man at that time. Needed to get a real job and raise a family. And, although this is profitable, it's not really like enough to be your sole income, Yep. And so I was a little apprehensive to take that on at first, and then I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And now we have had, but like this last year's Uncle Earl's is probably twice the size entries wise of the next largest one before I took it over.
Okay.
We ran over 700 entries. We paid out around $80,000.
Wow. That's some significant money, that's for sure.
Yeah. And we had a one-day show this August, what I call the 2-Dog World Cup, and it paid out like $45,000 for just a 6-hour deal. Mm-hmm. It's a little higher stakes deal. Yeah. You don't draw as big a crowd there because you just get the upper echelon of talent.
Yeah.
But the entry fee's $600 instead of $130.
Yeah.
And makes for a pretty sweet payout.
For sure. No, I mean, we in coonhound world, it's the same thing. Pro Sport and PKC with some of their larger $6,500 entry fees. You got to be pretty confident in your dog to pay
absolutely
thousands of dollars. But yeah, you can win a truck or $100,000 at the end of the night. So,
and the demographic of people that do that are different than the demographic that compete in ours.
Yeah.
Like those guys are going to spend a little more money on dogs. They're going to travel a little further. And coon hunting is a nationwide thing. Hog hunting really isn't. It's pretty much like a quarter of the country.
Yeah.
And so we have a little less to work with. Much less, there's not the nostalgia behind it. Like there's like coon hunting's pretty high up there as far as nostalgia. Like there's horse racing, prize fighting. Coon hunting's pretty close to all that. You know, hog baying is a little known thing in the grand scheme of things. It's little known.
Yeah.
Since the advent of social media, it's exploded.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people know about it. A lot of people watch the highlights.
Yeah.
There's still, there's millions of people that'll watch Goose's page. That's the 6-time world champion.
Yep.
But there's not millions of people coming to the show. Now there's thousands of people. And, like I said, we had 26 states represented in Uncle Earl's this year. But, and 2 different, or I guess 3 if you count domestic, but 3 countries represented too.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I think it's pretty crazy. You have people coming from around the world to come to a hog baying competition that, by most people's standards, it's just a bunch of hillbillies and, and dogs barking at pigs.
Yeah. And, essentially that is what it is. But sometimes hillbillies and dogs barking at pigs can be a pretty special thing. If you ever came there, if you ever came there and seen it, like it would, for the most part, people that like dog sports
mm-hmm.
or just outdoors type people, if they ever come, it pretty much their year, the rest of their calendar, like their work vacation, stuff like that, is planned around that event.
Yeah.
When people leave, I'm trying to clean up the mess I made when the show's over and put everything back like it was. And people are calling me all that week. Hey, what's the dates for next year? Like, gee whiz, man, give me a minute to kind of wind down. We'll talk about next year.
That's crazy.
But you're talking about the high entry fees in coon hunting. I actually, are you familiar with Adam Campbell?
I believe so.
Out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, me and him, when they were going to have that $1 million hunt.
Yeah.
Me and him put up his best 2 dogs. I actually called him and was thinking he would be like reluctant to split his best dog. He was like, heck yeah, I'll do that with you. And I said, well, do you have anything else? He said, yeah, I got 2. So you just want to put 2 in and split it? I was like, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. And of course they didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
I could teach the guy that tried to put that on a lesson if he would listen to me.
Gotcha.
You never, pre-entries are going to be a third of what you'll actually get if you accept entries at the show. If all I did was pre-registration at Uncle Earl's, I wouldn't get 100 entries. If I accept entries at the show, I get 780.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people get there, the blood gets flowing, they want to compete. And, I don't remember how many they needed at $10,000 a head to make it what they wanted.
Yeah.
But obviously they didn't get it, so they canceled it. And I was, like, that could have been the catalyst that got a lot of people into coon hunting.
Oh, yeah.
Like myself,
sure.
I would have found a way to get in some kind of way. Like, obviously, I was, Campbell had enough faith in me to partner up with me on that. And he has some really good dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say he's already won a truck or 2 this year.
Okay. But I know within coonhounds, like, with these bigger entry fees, you start seeing a lot more partnerships and stuff, and you start seeing guys that are willing to financially invest in dogs, in people, kind of like what you're describing. And I think that's kind of what's helped that aspect of the sport grow.
No doubt. Like, now there's owners, there's trainers, there's handlers.
Yep.
Because the money's there.
Yeah.
Like, the guys that can work with dogs every day are not the kind of guy that have millions of dollars in the bank. The guy that has millions of dollars in the bank is managing so much stuff he can't put his hands on dogs every day.
Mm-hmm.
although it's his passion.
Yep.
And like the blueprint is there in a lot of other sports, like horse racing.
Mm-hmm.
How many years has it been since a man that owned a horse, trained the horse, and won the Kentucky Derby? 100?
Yeah.
120?
Been quite a few,
Like
that's for sure.
It's somebody is the proprietor to the show, and he hires the right men to take care of it. And hey, let's go win the race.
Yep.
No different than like a general manager in football.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully one day Hog Bang gets there.
Yeah. And I think just from what I've seen of Hog Bang, you're making some big moves in that direction.
You know, right now, the only thing we really lack is like corporate money.
Yeah.
You know, right now everything we do is our money. It's mine or the the competitors.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, we have sponsors. We have some of the largest companies in our demographic that do support us, but it's not Coca-Cola. It's not Toyota.
Exactly.
It's not Ford Motor Company. It's not Garmin. Their idea of sponsoring it is paying $500 to hang a banner in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you know who wears more Garmin collars than anybody? You could take hog hunters out of the equation, and I'd be willing to bet they would sell half as many collars this year as they did the year before. When you go coon hunting, how many dogs you got on the ground?
Usually one or two. I would say if it's not hog hunters, I would say your deer and fox hunters are probably some other real big numbers. But yeah, your hog.
Deer and fox absolutely would have big numbers, but at the same time, there might be 8 different kennels, 10 different kennels on the drive if it's a deer drive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 8 or 10 men. The only difference is hog hunters aren't going to hunt with that many people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you're not just running the game; you're catching it. You don't want to. You want some game left when you get there.
Yeah.
But it is just the nature of the sport, I guess, because the deer is made to run. If I'm trying to flush him, I'll run 100 of them. You know what I mean? If something's good, more is better is how I look at it. But as we grow too, we have to kind of educate and bring companies like a Gorman, people that for one, they might not even know about it, some of them. And
mm-hmm.
2, they may worry, hey, like what are the negatives to this?
Yeah, 100%.
But also too, look at a Gorman ad. It don't matter what kind of dog, but like it on their ad, it might be a man in a blue tick sitting beside his truck. You don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like you'll never see a picture of a coon, a deer, a fox, a hog. Like Garmin don't really help itself either,
Yeah.
And if I understand right, essentially like that part of Garmin is like they bought out Tritronics.
Yeah.
There was a market there to sell them kind of collars, and like that, even though they still own the advertising, they don't really cater to us as outdoorsmen. They're more just a GPS company, and you happen to need their product.
Yeah, and they've also got a monopoly, so they don't really need to market.
Yeah, you say they have a monopoly, but I feel like if Dogtra, like if they weren't located where they were, like if they would, they're on the West Coast. Have you ever used a Dogtra product?
I have not.
They're not a sponsor of mine, by the way. I'm just starting conversation.
Yeah.
But like Dogtra could steal a lot of their market. But like talking to them, like those people, as nice as I can say this, are just completely ignorant to what we do. I don't even think Dogtra understands what kind of product they sell.
Yeah.
I've talked to their salespeople and tried to get some marketing ladies and stuff involved with what we're doing. And I'm like, look, you can, with Uncle Earl's alone, you could flip half of the hunting dog collars to you with this one event. They're like, wow, we're really interested. What's it about? Hog band. Like, you bark at hogs? Like, they're
Yeah.
thinking domestic pigs. You know, they don't even know. Like, you hunt hogs. Like a farm pig? Like, no. Feral hogs. Oh. You know, that's a
Yeah.
disease to them. You know,
Yep.
what little knowledge they have of feral hogs.
No, I mean, and I've heard good things of the product. I've just never used one. But and when I say that Garmin has a monopoly, it's just because I would venture to say they hold at least 75% of the market share. You know what I mean?
I would say it's more than that.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying at least.
Yeah, there are still people that do what me and you do that they've never heard of dog show.
Yeah.
So if it ain't Garmin, it ain't dog show. What is it? Still using a radio collar? You know.
There's a few of them, but like I said, most guys that I know, and you know, I've done these podcasts with all kinds of people, and especially most of the big game hunters, that the people that I do know that use Dogtra tend to own one or two dogs.
Yeah.
Most of the guys that I know that run packs of hounds, whether it be for hogs, bear, mountain lions, whatever, they're Garmin users.
One of the things that I noticed, I probably didn't use a dog trip, but for maybe a year. But the more dogs you put on it, like, it seemed to be way more efficient than a Garmin. Like, you could see, because it's an app on your phone. Every dog is on it. Like, your whole screen. Like, if you have 8 dogs, they're all on it. It tells you how fast they're moving. Like, you can put whatever you want underneath them.
Okay.
Not just how far they are and what direction they are. You don't have to flip screens like on a Garmin. I have an Alpha 300.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's 3 dogs. Like, if you're on the compass form or the compass page, there's only 3 dogs. You got to scroll to get through all of them. And you know, like when you're hog hunting, dogs separate.
Yeah.
You know, they're not all. You know, they hit a sounder. Everybody's going every which direction. Well, you want to know what your puppy's doing, because, you know, your old dog, you've been with him 8 or 10 years. You know what he's doing.
Yep.
You want to see what that puppy's doing. Go help him out if he needs help. You got to flip through the page and all that. That Dogtra, you didn't have to do that.
Okay.
Like, for larger packs, like, there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
I'm an old dog. It's hard to learn new tricks. That's pretty much the main reason why I stayed with Garmin. But I was really impressed by the Dogtra. And I don't like having my phone on me everywhere I go.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest thing is I don't like the fact that you got to use your phone. If they had a handheld, yes, I'd probably be much more.
That's the biggest downfall for me, because when you're hog hunting, hogs go across water, which I would imagine, you know, just about any game, there's potential to get wet, but you actually have to put your hands on the hog. So if he's in the water, guess where you're going to be? Yep. Guess where your phone's going to be?
Yep.
But at the same time, the people, obviously, because I talked to them, the people that invented Dogtra they have no clue what a feral hog is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's something that totes disease across Texas, if you ask them. But are you? Do you do any competition hunting, or you just do pleasure hunting?
I'm pretty much just a pleasure hunter now. My local club, I guide, I judge, and I have been to my fair share of competition hunts. I usually, the last several years, I've been to Autumn Oaks, you know, some other big events, but usually I just go and I walk along on a cast. So
yeah,
but I've gotten to see some top level dogs go.
Yeah, I'll admit, like the coon dog thing and the coon dog field trials really intrigues me. I don't want to put the time it takes in to be good at it, but I am interested in it, and I try to keep up with the winners, or if any of my buddies are involved. I love it. Anything you can do with a working dog. Yeah. I'll watch a duck dog. I don't give a flip about duck hunting, but I'll go watch a good duck dog work.
Yeah.
It just lights my fire. Cow dogs. That's what I started with. But if I have free time, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going hog hunting with my dogs. And I don't mind riding with somebody, just taking one, but I'm taking one of my dogs if I'm going, or I'll just sit at the house. I like
Well,
to run dogs, and I like to run mine.
I understand. And while we're talking about you, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and let's talk about it. Your hog hunting.
Yes. My name is Jake Loiacano. I own hogband.com. We run the Uncle Earl's Hog Dog Trials. It's the largest field trial in the country of any kind that I know of. Most spectated, most entered in. Probably not the richest, but the money payouts are still pretty good, in the neighborhood of around 80 grand.
Yeah.
At that one weekend. We have 5 shows a year, and every one of them pays out in the neighborhood of that. I would say between 50 to 80, depending on what the format is.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a huge following. We have some of our competitors have become social media darlings.
Yeah,
They
I'd
have
say so.
they have got some good followings. Most notably, like anytime if I mention hog band, people will be like, "Hog band, what's that?" And then you start explaining to them, like, "Oh, it's where we judge how well the hog dogs bay up the hogs, like if you were hunting a simulation essentially of what you're doing in the woods." And they're like, "Oh, the hog and the dog? Yeah, you know that goose dog." That's the first thing they all say.
Yeah.
And I got a funny story about that. The guy that owns Goose, a logging truck flipped over in his yard about 3 years ago. Took out part of his fence. They were all sitting out there up there by the road. The man was fine, even though he was loaded and everything. It's a miracle. He wasn't even hurt.
Mm.
He was sitting up there talking to the guy that owns Goose. And he started telling him, he said, "Man, what do you do with them dogs?" He's like, "They're hog dogs." He said, "Hog dogs?" He pulls his phone out and he pulls up TikTok and he's like, "You ever seen a dog this bad?" He said, "That's Goose." He said, "Yeah, man. You know Goose?" He said, "You want to pet him?" He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "He's right back there. I'll own him."
That's
It was
funny.
wild. But like, I get that at least once a month. I get that.
Yeah.
But like, there was a time a year or two ago where it was like every day. Now enough people know what it is just because, the way your search history and the algorithms work. You're
Yeah.
interested in outdoor stuff. Chances are you're going to see a dog barking at a hog.
Yep. So Goose is definitely
And,
good for business, huh?
yeah, absolutely. And I try to encourage. A lot of these folks are not as well versed in technology and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I try to encourage all of them to do it.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like me. And if it don't run off a feed, I can't operate it. Well, I can fairly drive a truck, but I can't work on it.
Yeah.
But if it runs off feed, I can work on it, take care of it, and teach it something.
Yep.
And that's kind of the guys I hang out with. But that's the kind of the gist of or more broad spectrum of who I am. But like as far as what we do, some people may want to know, what is hog baying? Well, it was initially invented like all these old hog hunters were like, I got the best dog, you got the best dog kind of things. Probably how coon hunting and competitions and everything else started. Well, what they do is they'll turn a hog loose in a rodeo arena type of pen. Could be wooded, it could be just dirt, and we judge the dogs on how well they hold the hog at bay.
Okay.
And I would say 50% of it is concentration. Do you ever take your eyes off the hog?
Mm-hmm.
When he charges you, do you tuck your tail and run? If it runs, do you try to stop it? Just like in the woods, wild hog don't just stand there while you bark at it. You got to stop it.
Yeah.
They stop the hog, and then also if the hog is bayed up, you can't be too rough. You got to back up and just bark at it.
Makes sense.
If you're constantly trying to be rough, that sucker's just going to keep running.
Mm-hmm.
You're breaking the bay, and the dog walks into the arena with a perfect 10, and any of those things, not barking, being too far back, not stopping the hog, taking your eyes off the hog, or did I already say being too rough?
Yeah.
Or not being too rough, not stopping the hog, not barking, taking your eyes off, or being too far back. Those are the 5 things you can be deducted for.
Okay.
And obviously, if you latch on to the game, you are disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
But and then after the first round lasts 2 minutes. Everybody that gets a perfect 10, they come back and we do what we call a bay-off, and until we have a winner.
Gotcha.
And sometimes they split, kind of like the coon dog world. But it's you can't make them run it off.
Yeah.
It's up to the owner's discretion.
Gotcha.
But so you have seen some of this stuff on social media?
Oh yeah, I've seen little bits and pieces of it. Like I said, I've never been to Earl's. One day I'd like to make it down there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know there's probably at least a couple other podcasts that go down there and they'll do some recording and stuff.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet that you would meet a lot of people that that hunt like you hunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of mountain curs, blue ticks, stuff. Walker dogs, a lot of treeing dogs.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of folks, especially that are further down this way, that like they know that like it's probably one of the last places too that you can put your hands on any type of dog gear, like tack, whatever.
Yep.
Like most people now, you order it offline if you don't like the way it feels or like the way it fits. You either might be screwed or you have to send it back and swap it out.
Yep.
And Uncle Earl's, every major vendor that you can think of is there. You can put your hands on what you're fixing to buy. And
Yep.
that's kind of a thing of the past, really. Unless you're going to one of these big shows like the Grand American, Uncle Earl's, or something like that.
Yep. Automox is kind of similar, Grand American and the Coonhound world. I think those are probably your 2 biggest as far as vendors and stuff.
Yeah. Which I'm guilty of this too because I suck with technology. But the only thing holding the coon dog world back, like I literally think it could be as big as horse racing if you could watch it.
Yeah.
Like you can't sit down and like my event, like you can sit down in the bleachers and like it's action packed, so that's easy to sell.
Yep.
Like essentially the coon hunt is just the competitors and their dogs.
Yeah.
Like if you could watch it, I feel like that would be as big as horse racing because all 50 states have coons. All 50 states have, I would say, serviceable competitors. I don't know where the hotbeds are, but it is definitely something that's nationwide and is a hot ticket.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I had started a YouTube channel and kind of live streamed all my stuff, I would probably have more followers too. But I'm going to need an assistant to do that because if it runs off electricity, it's not really my thing.
I understand. That's kind of my department. I do a lot of photography and videography work. So.
Yeah. Well, after we get through recording, we might have to talk and see what our options are for putting this thing on like some type of streaming service. And I really believe, like, if you had this on a website or something and charged them like, hey, $10.99, you can subscribe to Uncle Earl's and watch the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a full-on production. We have rodeo announcers. We play music. We announce the scores as they come out. Sometimes even as much as lights and smoke.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own walk-up song, all that jazz. Nice. It's pretty entertaining.
That's pretty cool.
And then, it might be a double-edged sword. When people start watching it on our live stream, they might start showing up in person.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of people, that's the way a lot of things grow. They see it online first, and then it's like, maybe I should go to that.
Yeah.
So.
And especially Uncle Earl's, like the folks that come to that, like they come once, they plan their year around it. The rest of the shows, I mean, they're just as exciting. The same competitors are there, but it's a little more slower paced, a little more serious,
Okay.
Not to say Uncle Earl's isn't serious, but because it obviously is. But some folks just took a week off of work to come party and watch the show.
Yeah. Now, where are all the other shows?
Downsville, Louisiana, about an hour and a half north of Winnfield.
Okay. So Earl's is in Winnfield, and all the other ones are in Downsville?
Uncle Earl's is in Winnfield. And one of the things that limits us on our venues is all the state's laws about wild hogs. You can't take a wild hog across the state lines.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere.
Gotcha.
If they're a Louisiana hog, they got to stay in Louisiana. Texas don't want them. Arkansas don't want them, and then vice versa. If it's a Texas hog, Louisiana don't want it.
So it's not like you're kind of, you've compared your show to a rodeo. It's not like you can load your stock up and take it to the show down the road to cross the state line.
That's right.
Makes sense.
Yes. Which I believe they have some stuff they still have to go through as far as like health inspections and stuff. But a wild hog is
Yeah.
It's the devil, depending on what news outlet you listen to.
See, like we don't have hogs up here, really. I mean, there's some like hunting preserves that have hogs turned loose, and there's some on the outside of those areas that just get loose. But as a general rule, we really don't have a bunch. So
yeah, I've joked that
we hear about a lot up here.
Some of our biggest competitors, we have one family from Colorado and one from Maryland, and I've joked with them that like if I sent them home with a trailer load of hogs, it would help my business tremendously to get those hogs. Could you imagine hogs in the mountains of Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would definitely help the sport too, though.
Make more hog hunters, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, one of the biggest things, you can't have people enthusiastic about hog hunting that don't even know what a feral hog is.
Yeah. 100%.
But if we dumped a trailer load in the Rocky Mountains, boy, it'd be on.
Oh, I can tell you right now, if we had them, I'd be hunting them. I've been on one hog hunt, and it was a blast, and I loved it, but we just don't have them.
I've never heard of someone say, I had a bad time hog hunting. They might have said it was hard, but I've never heard them say I didn't have fun.
Yeah. Now, how did you get your start in hog hunting? You said you started off with cow dogs. So how did you make that transition?
Well, like I said, we had cow dogs. And have you ever seen Swamp People?
Yeah.
The show on History Channel?
Mm-hmm.
My dad's first cousin is the dude they call Bigfoot on Swamp People. When they first brought in the first Texas group and put them in the mix, Bigfoot is my cousin. Well, he took my dad hog hunting one time and brought some of our cow dogs, and they were good. And then next thing you know, we met some people that hog hunted, and we kept going. And next thing you know, we're hog hunting I don't know what it is about people that hog hunt. They go 7 days a week and they get burned out. But we pretty much went 7 days a week, or any time we had free time, and was hooked, man, from Jump Street.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like I said earlier, you take somebody that is into that kind of action-packed stuff, they just get hooked. And I tell friends all the time, like, man, you need to take me hog hunting one time. Like, man, you don't want to go hog hunting with me. Why not? You'll have a dog tied to everything you own.
Yeah.
And we started hog hunting. It wasn't long. We heard about hog bayings, and we went to one like 3 weeks before Uncle Earl's. I think that was the second or third Uncle Earl's ever. Okay. And they had a warm-up party, and we won everything. Never competed in one. We had seen one before, but we had never competed in one. And we won everything they had. Won a few $1,000. Was like, wow. Okay, needless to say, we were hooked.
Yeah.
And we kept coming, and then all the folks that we kind of ran it at that time just getting a little older. Nobody kind of took up the reins. They're starting to die off, and I said, I don't want to see it die. I got to do something. And I quit competing and started producing the shows, and the rest is history.
Gotcha.
I still have a lot of hunting dogs. Like I went hunting this morning on the Sabine River. I live
Okay.
right here on the Texas-Louisiana line.
Okay.
And
What kind of
just
dogs do you
bought me a
run?
mutt. Man, I do have some cur dogs, but I mainly running walker crosses.
Okay.
And when I say crosses, some are crossed with cur dogs, but I recently got some that were crossed with people call them long-legged dogs. People call them wolfhounds,
Mm-hmm.
stag hounds.
Yep.
Essentially, a lot of people. My friend uses the pure breeds for like thermal dogs. They go thermal hunting these crop fields,
Okay.
and they just send the dogs out on the hogs and catch them that way. But I'd say they're about 3/4 running walker. These two particular puppies I have anyway. 3/4 running walker and a quarter stag hound, wolfhound, whatever you want to call it.
Gotcha. Interesting.
And I'm probably saying that wrong, but like that's how ignorant I am to that kind of jump. But I know this. Those two puppies I have today, their first hunt. They're 10 months old. They were born right after Christmas, and we caught 3 hogs today. Now I don't think they found anything, but they helped. And they don't stand around your feet. I was pretty proud of them.
Mm-hmm. Now, what did
I
you?
think they.
What made
Go
you
ahead.
go from? Obviously, if you had cow dogs, I'm going to guess you had some sort of cur dog, whether Catahoula, Blackmouth, or
I had
crosses.
straight cur dogs and almost straight yellow dogs. I had a few
Okay.
brindle, maybe a black and tan every now and then, and they were extremely rough and extremely fast paced. And when you're young and full of fire, that's cool. But you gain about 50 pounds and you get 40 years old. You're like, man, I don't want to run to these bays anymore. And so I got me something with a lot more stamina, and I didn't have to worry about it getting rough. And you know, there's more than one reason you don't want to be rough. But like, main thing is like you got kids now. Old John's their pet,
Yep.
and you don't want to see them get injured or something because they're out there being too rough.
Yeah.
So I got some dogs that are got a little more sense, stay back and bark. And I have a Honda Pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
I drive up to the bay, and everybody I hunt with gets mad at me. You're gonna break the bay? And I say, hey, we might break the bay. They'll run him down and stop him again. If they don't, we'll try again tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm not hunting to keep score. I'm hunting for fun.
Yeah.
And I'm out there just trying to enjoy myself. I try to drive up, and I try to stay in that buggy as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Used to, we literally we would take off on foot, no tracking collars, limited gear for the dogs, and some rope in our back pocket.
Yeah.
And we'd take off and caught hundreds of them, and don't know how we did it.
Yeah.
And then we got the beat collars, and I thought to myself, like, man, I don't know how we did it without this. And then we got I think the first Gorman I had was like a 220 or something.
Yep.
I'm like, man, I don't know how I ever hog hunted without this. Now I got a Gorman 300. I'm like, man, I don't know how I hog hunted without this thing. I don't know what they're going to come out with next, but it'll probably change the game again.
Yep. It always does. But no, I was curious how that progression happened and what was the reason. But that makes sense.
Yeah, but I swapped over to to a running walker, but I believe that's the most versatile dog that God ever created.
Okay.
Is a running walker. I may be wrong, but I'll argue with you about it. If your dog is good, I don't care what it does, except maybe retrieve ducks. If your dog is good and you cross it with a running walker, it will be better. That's just how I feel. I haven't seen everything and done everything, but I've seen a lot and I've done a lot.
Yeah.
And anything that has running walker in it is just better.
Okay.
And I didn't grow up with them. I grew up with cur dogs.
Yeah.
First, I'd say 30 years of my life. I'm 42 now. First 30 years of my life, I was a yellow dog man. In the still parts of the country, like when I go to the field trials in Georgia, there's old yellow dog Jake. And I have a kit now that I use for a kit. I have a pit that I use for a catch dog. He's yellow, but that's the only thing that's been yellow on my yard in years.
Okay.
Everything around here is kind of red and white.
Yep.
What do you hunt with?
I probably hunt with dogs that look more like a hog dog than what you have. I hunt with leopard.
Yeah.
What are technically leopard hounds now, but my dogs are very much cur dogs.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that.
So, and then I've got a leopard plot cross as well.
There is a friend from the guy, he came 2 or 3 years ago to Uncle Earl's. I probably haven't seen him in 4 or 5 years, but I still follow him on Facebook. And he had a leopard hound that was really, I think he's from Southern Illinois, but he was really high ranking in some kind of coon hunting deal. But that was how I got familiarized with it. I didn't know there was such a thing as a leopard hound.
Yep.
And there's a girl from Georgia that had a leopard hound and she enters in the hog band. But him, like, it's different seeing them in pictures in the winter circle,
yeah,
and seeing them in person. Like my buddy that had the dog, the coon hound, like I'm like, dude, that's a Catahoula, and it makes me mad, honestly. But then I see this girl from Georgia, and her quote unquote leopard hound. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a hound. Looks like a hound anyway.
Yeah, they run the gamut of build and all that. So you have some that look very much like a cur dog. You have some that look much more houndy. So
well, hers had some ears.
Yeah.
Like if we wanted to run DNA on them, I would bet somewhere there was a black and tan coon hound in this dog.
I mean, you get into the leopard breed and the history behind them. There is all kinds of hound. There's cur dog in them. There's running dog in them. They're a crossed up dog, which is why you get such a range of, builds, colors, and everything else.
Well, I'm a believer in running dogs, man. I have it may be kind of more recent. I have 40 years of working dogs, and just I'd say in less than the last 10 years, I've become a running dog man.
Mm-hmm.
But you said something earlier about having someone on with July's.
Yeah.
On your show, and essentially, like that's a walker dog, right? Like I don't even know the difference.
I think most of your July guys are going to fight you over that, but
and most running walker guys will bite you over saying that that if you call them red saddleback dogs, you say, man, it looks like a July. That ain't no July. That's a running walker. Okay, whatever.
But it's a running dog. I mean, what's real?
Well, I'll say this.
It's like splitting hairs with coonhounds. Yes, there's a difference between a blue tick and an English, but there's a lot of them that look real similar.
Or a running walker and treeing walker.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities.
But I'll say this. Some of the finest, I'm not some of the finest hog dogs I've ever seen were Julys.
Okay.
And one day, hunting with some guys, I'm kind of getting out of the rough dog side of things, getting into these hounds, these running dogs. Because I hate breaking and running into a bay. I want something that'll stay there for 8 hours if I want it to stay there for 8 hours,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get in a panic to get over there to them. And anyway, they tell me, hey, once a year we go to this one guy and we buy some July dogs. Like, okay, I want in. I'll buy a couple. All right, we'll do it. Now he told me, he was like, man, don't get frustrated because they're not like cur dogs. They don't turn on the first time they see a hog. Some of them may never turn on. They just want to run something.
Yeah.
Like these Julys, as long as the hog would run, they would run it. But when it stops, they'd get bored with it and just leave it and go find something else to run, which ultimately in hog hunting, your objective is to stop the game.
Yep.
Like in the contest, that's your objective. You're judged on that. can you stop the game? Well, if you're going to walk off and leave it, you're no good to me.
Yep.
And they were, they told me, they were like, they don't all make it hog dogs, man, so don't get mad. Well, needless to say, the two that I got didn't make hog dogs.
Oh, yeah.
As long as it would run, they would run it. But I will say this, the finest hog dogs I ever laid eyes on were July's.
Yeah.
Now, you had to go through 30 of them to get 3. But I'd hand somebody a pretty hefty check for any one of those 3 that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is all I've done, majority of my life. And those are the finest ones I ever seen.
That's saying something.
And now, at the same time, if I'm going to breed these suckers, I would rather have something with a little higher success rate.
100%.
And I'll say this too, like people that buy dogs, don't matter what it's for, squirrel dog, coon dog, hog dog, racehorse, whatever. It comes with a negative connotation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he buys his dog, blah, 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 blah. Well, what's a world champion coon hound cost? Answer that question for me, because I don't know.
That really depends, but anywhere from 30,000-40,000 to $100,000.
Yeah, I figured it was around a 6-figure number. But what do you think is easier? Convincing your wife to raise some world champion caliber puppies, or convincing her to let you write a $100,000 check for a world champion coonhound?
I can guarantee you the easier thing to convince her of is the first option. Which one which one actually gets you a world champion? Probably the latter.
Man after my own heart. It is a dog, a horse, a cow, a goat. It don't matter. They all cost the same. The only difference is the down payment.
Conkeys Outdoors is proud to be a sponsor of Tree Talking Time. Family, hunting, tradition is the Conkeys motto. They understand the importance of passing down the tradition of hound hunting. They are a family-owned business that treats you like family. They also understand the importance of having the gear you need when you need it. Conkeys carries everything for your next hunt, and it ships to your door quick. They also offer great warranties on all tracking systems and financing options. Check them out at conkeys.com. You can also use the code TreeTalkingTime5 in all caps to save as well.
You go and buy what you want, you're going to get what you want.
Yeah.
If you buy, like, for instance, you want to get into hog bed, you want to be competitive. Chances are you're going to have to spend around $5,000 just to be competitive. You may not be a champion, but you'll be in the top 10, consistently for $5,000.
Yeah.
People, squawk and raise all kind of cane about that guy that paid $5,000 for a dog that hadn't been doing it a year. At the same time, they're at the house raising 30, 40 puppies, pouring hours and pouring their soul into these dogs and never get one.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of that one $5,000 dog.
I learned that lesson early. Someone tried to tell me when I got into running dogs, and somebody said, save up some money and buy yourself a good started dog. And I was young. I was 18 years old, and a good started dog cost $1,000 to $1,500. So I was like,
yep.
You know how many days I went through? A handful of puppies, and a lot of time and a lot of headache.
And you know what costs more than $1,500? Your time.
Feeding them dogs for a year and a half to figure out they weren't nothing, and
care. It's not just feed. You gotta worm them out. Flea pills, stuff like that. Housing.
Yep.
But if I could give anyone advice, like in any field, I don't do treating trials of any kind. I don't do fetching trials, bird dog trials. I just do hog dog trials.
Mm-hmm.
But I know this, and you may agree with me, but I'm going to say this is an absolute fact. The research is done in all of these sports. The newest sport in the game is probably mine. Hog band is probably the newest. I'd say it's been around for about 35 years, maybe 40 years.
Okay.
All these other sports have been around for a century.
Yeah.
Fox dogs, deer dogs, coon hounds, squirrel dogs, bird dogs. horse racing, that's been around 250 years probably. The research is done. We know what works. Get the right genetics, breed it, and run with that. You see, in the cutting horse world, like the South Texas, the Doc Bar and all that stuff, that's what wins.
Yep.
Stay with that. All right, you know what Walker dogs are the best. Stay with that. In the hog dog world, the Otis Weems line, that works. That's what's winning. Everything that wins has that in it. Stay with that. Quit trying to bring. I don't want to be too specific here, but essentially quit trying to bring a poodle to the hog band.
Yeah.
Quit trying to bring. I don't know what other stuff y'all would run into, but quit trying to bring something out of the ordinary because you want that dog to be great instead of having one that is great.
Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying.
The research is done through all these, especially in these older sports like coon hunting. There is literally decades, if not centuries, of what works. Quit trying to change it because you think you're onto something.
Well, also, I would say the dogs have evolved, sports has evolved, so it's like what worked 30 years ago doesn't necessarily work today. So you got to kind of pay attention to what's working today. At the same point too.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. Because any competition is ever evolving. If it's not evolving, it's not getting better.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, what I'm saying is like the Triple Crown, for instance. Belmont Stakes is the longest race. It's more of an endurance race. I guarantee you, and I know almost nothing about horse racing. You can pull the pedigrees on those horses that win the Belmont, and I guarantee you, everyone were distance runners.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to put a pace setter in a distance race?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like there's too many folks, especially in my sport, that are trying. They have a hunch, or they want to. They feel like they have an idea, and they want to come. They want to put a drug dog in the hog band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you may have the best Belgian Malinois that ever lived, and it's still not good enough. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And in some other sports, it may be all apples to apples. Like you all may be running a running walker. So,
mm-hmm.
There's not as much variation there. But don't come in with a blue healer and expect to win the bird hunt. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well,
this is the best. This is the best blue healer that's ever lived. Yes, he may be, but he's not a bird dog.
See, I think part of the difference is with coonhound events, they have to be one of the coonhound breeds. Bird dog events, they have to be one of the bird dog breeds. So it's like a lot of these dog sports, they're very limited in who's allowed to participate. Where with your sport, it's kind of whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, people show up with a blue heeler. Yeah, they can run it. Is it going to win? No, but they can run
very,
it.
Very, very, very slim chance. Once you're in the pro events, there's no chance you can't win. But I have classes for like novice, startup, and then amateur for like dogs that may have hit a lick before, but they're not necessarily pro.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't show up to the horse race with a donkey. Is what I'm trying to say.
I completely agree with that.
And like any person getting into a competitive field trial thing, that's the best advice I could give them. And I know very limited, especially in the tree and dog world. Other than the fact that I think it's pretty cool. I know very little about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many people are showing up to the horse race with a donkey in that world.
Well, like I said, you're limited to one of the 7 coonhound breeds. So, first of all, you're limited in that way.
And there's 7?
There's 7 coonhound breeds.
What are the 7 breeds? That's how ignorant I am to it.
You've got black and tans, blue ticks, English, walkers, red bones, plots, and leopards.
Never mind. I did know that. I guess I kind of think of a red tick and a blue tick is the same. Maybe even in English, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's just my ignorance to it.
A red tick isn't English. The English is just the red.
Oh, it is?
The actual. It's like a blue heeler versus an Australian cattle dog, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same dog, just a different name.
It's like a Belgian Malinois and a Dutch Shepherd. They're the same thing. They're just a different color.
Gotcha. I thought there was a little more difference there, but I don't know enough about them to.
People that breed them both told me that's the difference.
Okay.
The Dutch Shepherd's black.
Gotcha. Like I said,
they may be wrong though. You know,
I don't know enough about them to know that.
I try to stay in my lane.
Yeah.
I probably make myself look silly enough staying in my own lane. I don't want to get in another lane and look silly too.
Completely understand.
But I'm only repeating what I was told. If that clears my name.
I get it. So, but yeah, but even then, and a lot of the coonhound events, you have to qualify in order to be, you know.
Yeah.
So in order to get to a world hunt, you have to qualify for it. So kind of like your pro class, you have to work your way through those novice classes in order to get to the pro class. So
yeah, that
weeds out a lot of, and I will say it weeds out a lot of breeds. I mean, you rarely see plots, red bones, leopards. I say those probably 3 are the most common you don't see.
Yeah.
You see more of the other breeds, and at least 85, 90% of them are typically a treeing walker. So.
Amen. Something with walker on the end of it.
But yeah.
A friend of mine, Pat Lewis,
mm-hmm.
he used to be a plot guy, and he swapped to walker dogs. His daddy always owned a fox pen, which I don't do it, but that really intrigues me too. Like anything with endurance and heart like that,
yeah,
like the fox hunter type people. You know, those dogs might go run for 8 hours.
Yeah,
like that's awesome. It's hard to get a man to go work for 8 hours, and this dog is out there, doing what he loves for 8 hours. I'm all for that.
Yep.
But anyway, Pat got swapped over to the walker dogs, and we're talking about the Louisiana state coon hunt, which it's a state coon hunt, but relatively speaking, Louisiana's kind of a small state. You could be from the southeast corner and somebody from the northwest corner kind of deal,
Mm-hmm.
And these big money coon hunts keep coming up. And I can't remember the name of the hunt, but I know it was like a high dollar entry fee, like $6,500 or something. They're giving away trucks, and maybe the biggest hunt of the year that year. It hadn't been 4 or 5 years ago. And I called Pat, and a friend, I guess let me back up a step. A friend of Pat's had a blue tick that won the Louisiana state hunt before.
Okay.
And he was like, he's only like this handful of men that ever did that. That guy did it.
Mm-hmm.
And, a blue tick won, just a few years back. And I called Pat and I said, hey, a blue tick just won again. And he said, yeah, well, they got that $500,000 hunt over there in Missouri or whatever. And that's where all the walker dogs are. So there probably wasn't nothing but blue ticks entered in it this year. But I'm probably going to get hate mail from all the blue tick breeders. But it was a funny story.
Yeah. As much as I don't like walkers, I am not a walker guy. You will not find one in my kennel today, and you will not find one in my kennel probably ever. They're just not my breed. Just not what I like. But I will say, if I wanted to go win a world hunt or I wanted to go win a truck, that is what I would go buy.
Well, that's kind of contrary. Those that's you just contradicted yourself.
No, I didn't. The style and what they in the way they hunt is not the way I want to hunt. You like you and rough cur dogs. You can go catch more hogs probably with rough cur dogs and you on the ground like you were saying when you were younger than you do right now with your running dogs. But you have more fun now because you ride right up to the bay, you have fun, you don't care.
Absolutely.
When I go out there, I don't want my dog a mile away from me. I don't care if that's where the closest coon is. I will get in trouble where I live between roads, property owners. Like, I don't hunt big tracts of land, so I don't want that style of dog.
Yeah, and I get that.
So that's what it takes to win the big hunts, but I don't want that here.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I almost interrupted you. I'll let you finish, and you said what I was going to say. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So like I said, it's just a different style.
Yeah, and there's people that hunt dogs now, especially in terrain that I grew up in, like those rougher cur dogs. Mm-hmm. I could take these run and walker crosses and go back where I'm from, like an hour south of here, in the marsh, and people with cur dogs could catch more hogs than me.
Mm-hmm.
I could still catch hogs, but they'll catch more than me.
Yeah,
I can go up into the mountains of Oklahoma or the foothills in California and still catch hogs with mine. They probably wouldn't have as much success. Or I could hunt a pine thicket right here in northeast Texas.
Like I said, there's a reason we have all these different breeds, and even within breeds, why you have different variations.
Yeah,
because people hunt different terrain, different styles. So
yeah, and your geography does have a lot to do with that. It absolutely does. And then there's parts of West Texas where the terrain, the cactus and the rock and all that stuff, like these running dogs don't hold up well with that rough terrain. They'll run the pads off their feet.
Yeah.
You would think something bred to run would have pads that were durable. You put them on that rock when they're just lighting it up for 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be raw.
Yeah.
And but they're like to back up on the blue tick thing to kind of redeem myself. Some of the greatest dogs I've ever seen were blue ticks.
Yeah.
But it's about like the July. Like if I'm doing this all the time and constantly raising them, why do I want to go through that many to get to that one phenom?
Mm-hmm. I get that.
Like that, just the law of average is better with a cur dog or a walker, for at least what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I've probably hunted behind every type of dog that'll trail game that was ever invented, and I've probably seen a good one of every kind.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen plenty of good dogs. It's just a matter of what you like and the style they do it.
And like the game we hunt, hogs. I'll say this all the time. Like, you can catch a hog with a stray poodle. You know what I mean? Like, you can literally get.
Oh yeah.
You can't take a stray poodle and go tree a coon. Can't do it. You can't take a stray poodle and go retrieve ducks. You can't point a pheasant. You can catch a hog with anything that got a little drive to it.
Well, that's like I had a dog here that he came from big game stock, bear hunter out of Michigan, but within a few generations it was coon. Everything was either coon hunted or bear hunted, and so I was trying to put him on coon, and he just was not interested. So to me, he was a cull. Well, I sent him to Louisiana, and a year later, the guy called me, and he had unfortunately gotten hit. But guy called me up and he goes, "You got any more like him?" I said, "No, he was a cull. Like you got him because he didn't want to tree a coon." So, but the guy loved him. Made a great hog dog.
Well, there you go. You don't have to be a once in a generation dog. One of the best, like literally, I would put this Jip up against any of the Julys that I talked about. She was a black and tan coonhound. This friend of mine, his uncle raised competition coonhounds, and this dog was silent on the track, so he called her, give her to his nephew. And he turned her into one of the finest hog dogs you've ever seen.
Yeah.
She had all kinds of drive and the grit that you needed to be a hog dog, and had the sense to have the longevity.
Yeah.
I want to say this dog bayed her last hog in the woods at like 14 years old.
Wow. That's very old for
think
a
of
hog
how
dog.
hard. Yeah. Think of how hard, like, being able to stop a hog is, and this dog did it at 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She was a registered black and tan coonhound.
Yep.
And now you probably could have bred her 1,000 times and never got one. That you probably could have bred her and may have not even got another hog dog, but you sure wasn't gonna get one as good as her.
Yeah.
Weird how that happens. Like you could breed the best female and best male, and maybe not get half of what you had out as far as the output from either of them.
Breeding dogs, I've said it before on here, while it is part of it is science, a lot of it is art. Figuring out which dogs are A, producers, B, what crosses well together, and C, how to keep it going.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've never heard that before, and I'm probably going to write that down.
Like I said, it's just, as you can look at
pedigrees, a lot of
you can
some of it is art.
You can study it and study it.
That's a great way to explain it.
But the best pedigree, you line up the best two pedigree dogs and back them up to each other, and you think that cross is going to strike and be the dynamite. And then, you have a mediocre female and, a halfway decent male, and all of a sudden they produce like a phenomenal puppies, So
yeah.
You just never know.
And at the same time, you could breed this awesome producer to a dud, by accident, and neither one of them really have the accolades to go with what they're putting out, and they just they keep throwing it out. It's weird.
Like, you hear it in the coonhound world, and you don't hear it as much today as you did, especially in the 70s and 80s. But some of these top stud dogs that won big and turned around and became really big name studs and produced a lot of great puppies. And it's like, what were they out of? Well, yeah, they were out of a good male, but then they were out of a brood bitch. Like, most time back then, like, people didn't hunt females near as much, and so it's like they didn't know if that female would have treated a coon or not. She never got put in the woods.
Yeah. That's wild.
And here it is, like, some of the top stud dogs in the country were produced that way. Like I said, you see less of it today, but
in our world, a good, like, the foundation for a good hog dog is a great female.
Mm-hmm.
You could have an average female and cross her to a handful of the best males, not get what you want. But you could do it the other way around and get a whole bunch of what you want.
Yeah.
Like you say, the science. Like every old timer will tell you, it's 60% a female or it's 80% a female. I don't know what the science is behind it, but I know what the art is. And if you got a good female, your chances go up.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I do feel like they take more after their mom. I may be wrong on that, but if I could back it up with statistics as far as the winning in the field trials goes, that mama carries a lot of weight.
And I would say if you can find a line of good females, like where you see a lot of consistency in the female line, you've got something.
Yeah. I can agree with that, because I know, like, everybody wants to breed. They want to make a stud dog out of the champion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the champion is breeding multiple gyps and not getting nothing after itself.
Yep.
This one gyp has been bred to multiple males. No matter what you breed her to, it ain't missing.
Mm-hmm.
They're up there kicking everybody's butt.
Yep.
It literally, I'd say in the last probably, I hate to go too far back. Let's just say 5 for sure, and maybe 10 years. I know of 2 males, and like at our shows, it's nothing to have between 500 and 700 entries.
Yeah.
I know of 2 males in the whole industry that can't miss. You can breed them to anything and you get a win.
Mm-hmm.
I know of 50 gyps.
That's a lot.
That's
good.
Like you can breed in this gyp and get a serviceable competitor or a flat out champion.
Yeah.
If you breed her to something, a good male. It don't have to be a great male.
Mm-hmm.
But I know of 2 males, and I feel like that's a pretty good, 2 or 1 to 25. That's how important the gyp is when you're crossing dogs.
Yeah. No, I think it's a lot of people have not put as much emphasis on good females for a long time, but I think it's becoming more and more prevalent that people are thinking about that.
And you were talking too earlier about a lot of folks not hunting or competing with their females.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're maybe doing it more now. Well, our sport is the inverse of that. Okay. I remember coming up and the gyps, like some of the best dogs alive, were females.
Gotcha.
If not, 7 of the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now people just about don't compete with their females anymore. Like, look at the top 10. I think there was 1 female.
Okay.
This year from the hogband.com standings. I think there was 1 female in it. Now, a female did win the futurity, but she's a freak. She's off of the goose dog.
Okay.
And he may have spit one out after himself.
Yeah. Hopefully
she looks like him. I'm not going to say she behaves like him because I'm not big on comparisons. I don't think it's fair to either party.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't compare Jordan to Kobe. Just let them both be great, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the Cali Gyp that won the puppy futurity is a special talent. But she may never be your daddy, but she's still special.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Especially, not only has Goose won, but how much recognition that he has had, that she's kind of following up in his footsteps.
Yeah. Well, this was her first year, and like people, especially your competition, they'll be sitting there watching, and it's like they almost report on the mistakes. Yeah, Goose won, but he did this. Yeah, Kelly won, but she did this. Well, in her first year of competition, she didn't give you many instances to criticize. She was exceptional.
That's pretty good. Now, in the hog band world, obviously, from what I understand, Goose is a Catahoula, right?
Yes.
Do Catahoulas kind of tend to shine?
Yes. They're good. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, they win almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
But, like you think of the people that had the other breeds that were competitive.
Yeah.
For instance, like my dogs, I had yellow dogs. Catahoulas took second place pictures when I had yellow dogs.
Okay.
I wasn't a dog breeder. I was a 14-year-old boy. People ask me, "You got anything left out of Jumper and Smokey?" Nope. Didn't breed them enough. It went away.
Yeah.
And then didn't know enough about breeding the stuff that we bred it to. Like, we would breed a dog to my dad's coworker's yellow gyp.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got a cow dog. You want to breed them? Yeah, heck yeah. That's what we bred to.
Yeah.
We didn't breed our own stuff. We literally showed up with a dog that we didn't know. We didn't even know the sport existed. We showed up with a dog that was great at it. Made a name for ourselves, and everybody else could do the same thing. Walk up with your cow dog and win the largest hog dog field trial there is. don't work that way. It was just kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
But Goose has a lot of. I ain't gonna say a lot of stuff, but he has some Airedale in him too.
Okay.
That's probably where some of the grit comes from. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I'm a nerd to an extent. I'm not a super nerd. I do love my sport, but I'm not. I don't. Dude, somebody will ask me something about an old dog. I can tell them about the dog, and then they ask, "What's out of so and so and so and so?" I'm like, well, golly, I was there 30 years ago when that happened. How do you know it? And you've only been here for 5.
For my breed,
I don't take notes.
I know my breed pretty well, especially some of the old dogs, but it takes a lot of studying to know that,
Yeah. But y'all have a lot more material too. The records were kept better. Like before I started hogband.com, other than something written on paper at someone's house that I wouldn't trust, there were no records of nothing. There was no degrees of champion. There were actually no champions.
Okay.
There weren't no world champions, nothing. Like there was no point system, nothing. And I'm not even a registry. Like somebody could start a registry that would really supplement this.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do things like highest placing female. I do a puppy for charity. I do the top 10 dogs in the world. Next year, I think I'm going to add, a different year-long award. But just like y'all have a lot more to go off of. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like y'all have some pretty good record keeping, and damn sure some good pedigrees.
Yeah.
Like these hog dog pedigrees, the paper they're written on might be good enough to blow your nose off. You know what I mean? Like there's so many tall tales, and what's bad is a breeder will tell you 2 different things. He might tell me this and tell you that.
Yeah.
All right, now we know he's lying. We don't know who he's lying to.
Yeah.
But we know he's lying. And that goes back to, men I admire. They were doing it for a strategic advantage, but like still now that we're trying to figure things out and how to breed dogs 30 years later, it's still, it'd be nice to know the truth.
Oh yeah.
But I guess you got to find your own truth. Like Goose is part Airedale. Who would have thought that?
I would not have guessed that. Now, if you would have told me he had something, I don't know. I don't even know what I would have, like, if you would have told me he had some running dog in him, especially as white as he is, I would have been like, huh, okay.
Yep.
Like
100%.
that would, or bird dog or something like that. Like, that wouldn't have threw me. Now, the Airedale, I'm like, I wouldn't have guessed that.
And I might get criticized this amongst my peers, especially some of the older ones, but I would imagine he had a touch of plot in him too, on where he came from, the old man,
Okay.
But don't really make sense with as agile as he is. But he might be an anomaly in the gene pool too.
Yeah. You never know.
But I know he definitely has Airedale and a ton of Catahoula, and I'm alone when I say this, so no one else gets drug into this. But I think he has a touch of pit bull too.
Okay.
Because I've seen some of the ancestors that he came out of, and you couldn't convince me that they weren't a high. I don't mean just like a touch of pit bull. I mean like they had a high percentage of pit bull.
Mm-hmm.
I may be wrong.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find a Catahoula in general that didn't have some pit bull in them.
Amen. But me and you both will be criticized for saying that.
I mean, I'm not an expert on the breed, but
I'm supposed to be, but I'm not.
They've been bred for hog dogs for a long time. What do most people want in a hog dog? A dog that's going to run in there and stop a hog. So, more grit and stopping power has been something that hog hunters have wanted for a long time. Where do you find that easily? In pit bulls.
Yep.
So that's been a common cross in the hog dog world forever. So.
Oh yeah, like everyone, like how I explain my evolution is the pack that I hunt. Like that is, I would say, nearly 100% have evolved in some form or fashion that way. Like I started with yellow dogs. A lot of people started with pit bulls that would wind off the bow of the boat or pit bull crosses.
Mm-hmm.
Like they never casted a dog. They slow rode through the bayous or the river with 2 or 3 pit bulls on the bow of the boat, or they rode through the hunting club with the dog sitting on their hood. When they winded, they jumped off and caught it.
Yeah.
And they didn't cast.
And back then, before hogs really started running and getting pressured, I mean, you could hunt that way.
And this is my take on that. But see, you obviously know something about hog hunting because that is a popular conversation. Like hogs getting pressured, I do not think makes them run more.
Okay.
What I do think makes them run more is this county, this tract of land, this club, whatever, has been dogged for 50 or 60 years. So everything that'll stop and stand its ground has been harvested.
Yep.
The only thing left are the athletes that get away.
The runners.
The cowards. The track stars.
Yep.
So you got a track star breeding to a track star, because that's the only thing that survived, making a superstar.
Yeah.
And that's what we have now. And that has also made it to where less people hunt pit bull crosses and more people hunt Ryan Walker crosses.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that as well. And I think it's a very good possibility that's also a big, I think either way, there's no real proof to either thing, but I think both things are factors.
Yeah. And I get it. There's no proof, but like some places, like especially if they're just look at the breakout of the country where there is a commercial hog farm, chances are there are listed hogs there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not where you're from because there's not as many wild hogs, the Spanish boars, whatever you want to call them. But let's say Georgia, Florida, a lot of farm hogs there. Parts of Texas potentially, but not like there. There's more there per capita. Go look across a cotton field or a soybean field in Georgia and tell me you don't see 200 or 300 head out there that got white stripes on them. Where do you think that come from? That didn't come from a feral hog.
Yeah.
Those are mixed hogs. And that type of hog is not going to run as bad. For one, he's not the athlete.
Mm-hmm.
For two, pressure don't really mean nothing to him. These super freaks that never see a human for generations, they see a human, they're fixing to take off.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have something that'll light them up to stop them.
That's what you're saying. Well, all you've convinced me of is that I need to get down there to Uncle Earl's and to get down there and hog hunt some more and experience a little bit of this.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go, for one, if you ever want to go hog hunting, I may not be able to do it myself. Like here, we don't have as many hogs here as some of my friends do, but like South Georgia, Will Booth would take you hog hunting. He's a good friend of mine, and you would have a ball and catch one after another. But you do need to get to Uncle Earl's, and I would bet you, just unsolicited, you would see more than a dozen people there that you know from your world and the tree and dog world.
Oh, I'm sure I would.
There's a lot of people that just know, hey, that's a dog man's world, and they come down there, and hang out, sit around the fire, swap lies, have a good time, and then watch a little dog work too.
Yep.
Check out the winters and stuff, and that's one of the things too. Kind of off topic as far as working dogs or breeding dogs, but the production of the show we had changed like used to. it used to just be like 4 or 5 days, and the winner would be at 3 a.m. and nobody got to see who won. Back before social media, it'd come out in the magazine a month later. Now we shut down. It's a week long. We shut down at 9 o'clock every day, unless we finish earlier. And the winners are crowned either at 9 o'clock or in the middle of the day the next day for each class. So you can actually sit and watch. Not to say, not to sell anyone short, but like the first round, there's a lot of dogs that make mistakes. Yeah. But once you get to those bay-offs, there's some really great runs, really entertaining runs, really, like stuff you can kind of compare, breeds, genetics, stuff like that. Like, hey, man, that's what I like in a dog. That's what I like in a dog, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And you actually get to see who wins in front of the crowd.
That's awesome.
Instead of being 3 a.m. when there's only people left awake are the judges. And sometimes that's arguable.
Well, good deal. Now, one question before I let you go. I do have a question. Like you said that you're not a registry. So if somebody has a dog that they think is going to be the next goose, the next best hog dog, right? What do they do to put a dog in? Like, because you're not a registry. Like, do they have to do? Does it just show up? And I don't know. What's the process?
All our shows are open shows. All you have to do is come up with the entry fee.
Okay.
So, hey, this is my name, my kennel name. This is my dog. I'll put it in this class. Pay your entry fee and go to work. I give awards per se, or obviously I give awards, but like I don't give like degrees of champion on a dog's papers and stuff.
Okay.
Like I don't want to get in that business because, like I said earlier about like the Catahoulas and what they really are, and because some of the top breeders have confided in me things that I know that what the public thinks are not true.
Yeah.
And if I don't have to hold their feet to the it's like at the racetrack. Like there's certain restrictions in this class, and then there's a run with your brone. My show is a run with your brone.
Gotcha.
I don't care how you do it. You bring a 3-legged yellow spotted poodle if you want. I don't care if it can compete. Let it compete. And it saves me a lot of liability.
I get what you're saying.
Now, don't get me wrong. I wish someone would. There is an American Bay Dog Registry. The guy that runs Animal Housing Solutions, he has recently taken it over, and hopefully that could turn into something. But the people also have to buy into it.
Yep.
And do things like a DNA swab, and since it's something that's never happened before, asking people with hog dogs, like, I want to register my dog. Here's his mama, here's his daddy, here's his name. Well, all right, swab is cheap. We'll have his DNA on file. And everything that's out of him or whatever, we'll have record of from now on, because that's how registries work. Oh, man, I ain't doing all that. That's the kind of pushback you get, So he's got his work cut out for him.
There's plenty of that in the tree dog world in certain aspects as well.
Yeah. But that's the only way to keep it straight.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lie or it not being straight is more marketable, and ultimately, sometimes marketability is it's the kingpin. That's what if it ain't marketable. Folks don't want to do it.
Yep.
Even though it may improve their world.
I understand.
In the long run, for sure. But when we get done here, I know this. We need to talk about see if we can get this thing on like some kind of live stream and see how what all hoops have to jump through to do it, because I think it'd be a hot ticket.
Yeah, we can do that. So, but I do appreciate you taking the time to sit down here with me tonight and record this podcast.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me on.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Tree Talkin' Media. And until next time, keep them talking in the timber.